Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whisky. My name's VinPF, and on today's episode we're checking out the next Summerton release. These guys release a bottle of whiskey every 2 months. It's a club in the UK that costs me 50 quid, and they send all sorts of stuff through. They send relatively cheap whiskey through, and they send some stuff that they've bottled in collaboration with other brands. And today we've got something brand new, which is they've done their own independent bottle, but we'll get into that in just a moment. One of the things I always like to say about this, obviously I'm a paid member of the Summerton Club and I love these guys. What they try to do is, charge you 50 quid, that includes delivery, and it should, in theory, be cheaper than you can get it anywhere else. Sometimes like this, you can't get it anywhere else but the club, but when they release something that is generally available, it should be a bit cheaper. So it's always a good way of doing things, and we never know what's coming. So this is always a surprise, and they deliver sort of around about the 20th of the month. This was August in this case, and I always try to spend a couple of weeks with it before I review it, just to make sure that I've kind of got my tasting notes dialed down and whatnot. But as you can see on this one here, I've kind of not been able to leave it alone. I spent the first few days hammering it, and then I've just had to put it aside just to make sure I've got enough for a review. But I can't imagine this is going to last long in house PF. But yeah, getting into this one then. This is Summerton Club's first foray into independent bottling, and already I can say, having done a little bit of it myself, not even quite to this level, but it's super hard to do. So massive kudos for them for being able to do it and making it for an achievable price. And although, Mackmyra tend to do, if you're doing like my bottling, when I did Mackmyra, here you go, blah, 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 it's half litre. They've managed to achieve the classic 700 millilitres. So, this is the first one then. Summerton Club, batch number 1, and they're calling this Swedish single malt. There's a couple of things you need to know about this that are important, and that is that although it's Mackmyra, it's actually distilled at their Mackmyra Bruk Distillery, which was their first distillery that was opened in 1999. Of course, now the majority of their liquid is coming from the Vatted Distillery, their new distillery. In fact, my buddy Ben at the Whisky Diary has just started a little journey into that. He went over there and had a look around it, so I'll drop a link to that in the description below so you can go and see that distillery. It's a pretty cool little tour around that. So this one here is distilled at the old distillery, and that's pretty cool because they're not really doing anything with that anymore. It's dwindling stocks, so as they say in the literature for this, it's a bit of whiskey history, so to speak. It's released at 46.6% ABV. We like that, and all the words on here that we like. Small batch, non-chill filtered, natural colour. We don't have kind of bottle numbers, I don't think. We do have one of 1,424. There you go. I'm surprised I managed to read that out in one go. A little bit dyslexic. In this one here, it's a vatting, so obviously you're not going to get, for 1,400 bottles, you're not going to get a single cask, right? So there's 4 different cask types using this. We've got ex-bourbon, new American oak, so virgin oak, ex-Oloroso, and new Swedish oak, which is pretty cool. Something that we like with Mackmyra is they're dabbling with Swedish oak, which gives a different vibe to it because it's it's colder climate, so the wood grows in a slightly different way. Don't know much about that. I'm not much of a scientist, but I imagine it's a bit hardier. There you go. So it's an interesting one. I think the most interesting thing about it, they haven't given us an age on this tour, obviously no age statement, but they have said that the oldest cask that's been used in this was 14 years. I imagine that's been rounded off by a lot of younger casks as well, but it's pretty cool that we know that there's something like that in there as well. Alright then, I know, before I get into the tasting notes, I know that you can't get hold of this. I'm not sure if there's any more of this available. It might be worth checking out the Summerton website at some point in case they've got any excess that they're trying to end off, although they do end up putting the price up a little bit for non-members or for non-month bottles, if you get my drift. But yeah, if you're in the UK, you know me, a couple of other the whiskey tubers, we love the Summerton Club. Really good way of getting some whiskey, for a relatively good price, especially if you're into the fun of kind of not knowing what's coming. I have to say the community around Summerton get a bit fancy about their spoiler alert. So if you end up getting this, heaven forbid you should post it online because people don't like that. But whatever, it's only a bottle of whiskey, right? So let's get into this one then and see what we've got on the tasting notes. You guys know I love Summerton Club, you know I love Mackmyra, so let's have a look what we've got in the glass. Oh, now the nose on this thing is fantastic. lots of honey, lots of those kind of tropical notes that I've come to know and love with Mackmyra. It's almost like those fruit salad sweets that you used to get. I think you still get them now, to be fair, but I used to have them when I was a kid. It's almost like that. And bags of pears I get in this one as well. It's funny because one of the things I've always noticed about Mackmyra is that they've got this amazing ability to continue their DNA throughout their whiskies. You know, some distilleries, although obviously, you know, a lot of good stuff is out there, some distilleries find it difficult to translate from one core expression to another, mainly because of the cask choices. But it's a testament to the new make spirit that goes into these things, because I find that whatever it is about it, I've never tried their new make, to be honest, but whatever it is about it tends to cut through the wood nicely enough and translate all the way through most of their bottlings. Let's try on the palate then. Oh, yeah. So you get a few seconds to enjoy the sweetness. Then very, very quickly, it's overtaken by a whole heap of big spicy notes. I'm going for things like, it's a mixture of kind of cracked black pepper, white pepper. I was thinking sort of chili, but it isn't kind of heat. It isn't heat spice. And then once that kind of dissipates a little bit, you're getting more of those tropical notes come through. So it's a bit of a going through the old palate. Very interesting. The finish is really long, really spicy. The sweet notes from the nose don't go all the way through the palate, but I'm absolutely fine with that. Let's have another sip here. Yeah. Obviously, very happy with this. Bit of a shame that you guys can't get hold of it, but as I say, every time I cover the Summerton Club, if you're into stuff like that, make sure you go and check them out, because, especially, obviously UK bound. Again, apologies to my wider audience, because obviously you can't get this. That's just the sad fact of the matter, but I only cover them once every 2 months, so you'll forgive me a bit of an indulgence. But yeah, really enjoying this. Can't wait. Obviously, this is number 1. So hopefully they're going to be doing more of this sort of stuff in the future. They only release 6 bottles a year, so it's going to be tough for them to do this on a regular, I think. But I'm looking forward to the next independent bottling, and I'm looking forward to the next Summerton Club release. Let me know if you've got this below. I know a good few of you have, so let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And we'll look forward to another Summerton release and more Mackmyra on the channel soon. Catch you again on another video.